But I did prepare a few things ahead of, well, the majority of it I did do ahead of time just to save time on camera. But we're going to do a card. We're going to do a regular A2 size card, which is, you know, the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and this one's going to be a top folding card to the folds at the top. And I went ahead, if you've been to my blog, then you know that I'm a huge fan of distressing the edges on almost everything that I have. So I did take my Tim Holtz distressing tool and I did go along the edges and distress the edges a little bit, as well as lightly doing the top here. I didn't want to do too much because I don't want it to cut through my paper, but I did do my edges as well as the edges of the rest of my papers. I'm going to mat on top of that a piece of craft cardstock. Both of these came from Michael's. It's just their Recollection brand black cardstock, and this is their craft. I did do some more of the distressing along the edges, and I also did use my Tim Holtz. This one is the Vintage Photo distressing ink with my inking tool to go along the edges and ink up my edges after I distressed them. I went back and inked my edges, and then I also got a piece of, I always have this, a page protector, and I laid my paper on top of it, and I just went around and kind of swirled inward around the edges to kind of darken up the edges so that my paper would match the pattern papers a little bit better. So that's the only reason I did that. The pattern paper that I'm going to use to put on top of that, now this mat I did 1/4 inch smaller. It'll look a little bit smaller because I did distress it, but this one is 4 by 5 1/4. And then my pattern paper that I used came from the Teresa Collins World Traveler 6 by 6 pad, and I picked this up at AC Moore last year, and this just really has a lot of fun papers in it, and they have kind of a distressed look to them already with the just kind of the way that the edges are and things like that. So that kind of matched my style of card making. So I love this pack. If you can get it, pick it up if you also are a fan of the distressing. So the paper that I picked out of there is this pattern. It's red, and of course it has I guess some cream design through there. And again, I distressed my edges with the distressing tool and went over it again lightly with what was left on my what do you call this? The inking tool? I can't think for right now. But I went around my edges and just slightly went over it. I didn't have to do too much, but doing the craft paper, it made a world of difference. If you can see this versus this, it matches a lot better. And this one I did do a little bit more, just a little more than 1/4 inch down, which this one is 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. And the only reason I did that is because when you distress the edges, you're going to go a little bit smaller than what your original measurement was, and then because of the way that you've got the frayed edges, if you just do your regular sizes, you're not going to have much of a mat. You're just going to have paper stacked on top of papers. So that's going to go on top of the craft paper. And I can probably go ahead and adhere down the craft, but we'll go ahead and talk the rest of it through. I'm going to probably, I'm not for certain, but I may use, I have some of this Smashbook washi tape that I may run across the top of this pattern paper. I'm not sure yet, so I'm gonna hold off for just a second. I've got this tag that I picked up from Michael's. Was in like their dollar section. And it has these tags and these little tags as well. So I liked this one, and this one's black, where the other ones kind of are different colors and things. I like the look of this one. It kind of reminded me of maybe a Valentine's type thing. I did, once again, took my distressing tool and lightly went around the edges, and I also took my blending tool. That's what this is called, a blending tool. I went over my edges with this, with a little bit more of the vintage photo, as well as lightly bringing it over the top of the card as well. I just kind of went over the edges of this with my fingers and not necessarily with the distressing tool. Because of that bold line, I didn't want to lose too much of it, but I did do a little roughing of the edges, and again went over it with the blending tool, as well as going over top to give it some more definition and color. And so that's going to go on here somewhere as well, and I'm going to stamp. If you watched my haul from AC Moore, you remember this little stamp set that I picked up, and I think I'm going to use the Love from there and stamp it on. Let's see what we can do here. First, I think I'm going to go ahead and stamp that. Let me see if I can find a piece of scratch paper just in case. Let's move this out of the way. This should be interesting. Never had a stamp on camera before. I'm going to use my Martha Stewart stamp press. I like these because we can actually, you can actually set up where you want your stamp to go and line it up before you actually press it down. So I like these. I'm going to use some Ditto Black ink, and I got that from Michael's. I probably need to stamp this off once. And I'm completely out of camera. See, guys, just bear with me. I don't know what I'm doing on camera here. Yeah, I made a big mess out of that block. Let's just stamp this, and yeah, that's a mess. Let's clean this up a little bit. Clean that off. Here, let's do it this way. That's better. See, like I said, excuse me if my head's in the way. Kind of line that up, and we're going to press down. Make sure we get a good impression there. Lift up. I like it. We're going with it. It's not perfect, but if you want perfect, you're not going to get it from me. I'm just not a perfect kind of person. All right. So that works out. So we'll get that out of the way. Let's bring back in our card base and our card. And here we go. Let's go ahead and adhere this down. Here we go. We're out of camera again. All right. Okay, that kind of comes out pretty easy. I like it. It's kind of my in camera. We'll lay that down there and see if we can get through this kind of fast, because I'm running out of time here. We're going to go ahead and do this because I have it here. See if we can line that up. Tear off that washi tape. Just kind of fold it around to the back. And go ahead and adhere that down. I want to center that as much as possible. Okay, now we have these two pieces. I think I'm gonna pop that one up. I've got some foam squares that I've picked up from Michael's, it looks like. Recollection brand. So let's use the big one here. I'm just going to place that for now until we get this one down. And I have some ribbon that was in my stash. We're going to put that through there. I'm going to see if we can get it through there. There we go. I'm going to tuck these tails and get a hold of them through the loop. Hello. There we go. Pull that through. You may just adhere that straight down. Yeah. Let's see what this. Oh. There we go. There. I like it. I can see where that would come in handy. Alright. And if I can pick this up and move our little step runner out of the way, and let's tuck that. What you think? Right about there? That looks good. Let's get some scissors and trim our tails up. Make one longer than the other. Oh. I like to angle mine. Let's get that out of the way. And go ahead and put that down because I'm cool with that. And there you have it. A very quick, well, quick on camera, I guess, since I had everything prepared. But I liked how that turned out. And as for the stamp runner, so far I'm liking it. I think it should do well. I'll continue to use it and come back later with an update on how I like it. So far I'm liking it. It'll get some used to because I've gotten the hang of my ATG, so it'll be kind of getting used to picking this up from the ATG gun, but you never know. So there you have it, guys. Thank you for stopping by and taking a look at this first impressions video and my first card on camera. I kind of like how it turned out. You let me know what you think, and subscribe if you haven't already, and if you are on YouTube, hop on over to my blog and subscribe there, and hope to see you guys real soon. Bye.